Today, Pat the Backyard Builder here. Well, there comes that time in every married man's life when you have the desire to have the little pitter-patter of little feet around the house. And so my wife and I, we went and did what every serious married couple did, or should do in a situation like that. We went out and got another kitty. Not only are they cheaper to raise, but you get more feet to patter around the house. So I've got this cute little critter here. Now the only problem with a multi-cat household is that the real estate tends to be in a little short supply. So with the adoption of this little guy, and he's going to be competing with space on the cat post for with his sisters, so we have to expand the cat post a bit for this family here. So, anyways, let's get started. Okay, so the plan here is actually fairly simple. What we're going to do, we're going to get some 1x4s, and we're just simply going to put them into a box type structure, and then that's going to form the main upright of the cat post. And then what we're going to do, we're going to take more 1x4s, we're going to put them across for the legs, and that way so that they can balance. And we're going to fancy things up. The current cat post I have has got four different platforms at different heights. So what I'm going to do here, I'm actually going to make a second post, and we'll get that out like that, and then I'm just going to add different elements to the cat post to fancy it up. We'll put a big platform on top here. We'll maybe make one a little higher than the other. We'll have another platform out here. I'm going to have platform coming out this way, and between the two platforms I'm going to actually have a little hammock that swings so the cats can come in there. Somewhere along here I'm going to have another platform that comes out. I'm going to put a paper tube and cover it with carpet so the cats can crawl up inside the tube or outside the tube, whatever they want to do. And the rest of the project here, we're just going to have different platforms going off in different sizes, going off in different directions. Somewhere along the line I want to have a hanging toy in a few different places, and just give them lots of opportunities for activity and lots of places to perch. We've got a fairly large window, so overall we're actually going to go about 6 feet wide, and the overall height here, I think the highest point I'm going to make it about 5.5 feet maybe. So that's the general plan anyway. Kind of make things up as you go along. It's easy enough to change these things as you go, and basically just do a whole lot of different things so that the cats have lots of activities available to them. you think of different ideas along the way, you can certainly modify the design to add to it, and basically have fun. Now most of this project can be made out of 1x4, 1x6. You can either buy that at the lumber yard, or you can even make this an old pallet wood project. And to keep costs down, go to your local carpet store, see if you can find a roll end, or even if they've got a carpet sample book that they're throwing out, because basically the cats are just going to end up tearing it apart anyway. So yeah, you might as well keep the cost down. We have a stash of carpet in the basement, which we kept when they put the new carpeting in the basement. So we just cut it up into small pieces and put it aside, and we just replace panels on the cat post as we go along. So there's a number of different things you can do to keep the cost down on this project. So anyways, let's get started. Okay, so let's get started here. I've done a bunch of cutting in advance here. I've got my 1x4s. Now, these ones are 66 inches high, and I've got another set that's only 60 inches. So we're going to actually make our two main columns are going to actually be two different heights, and reason for that is, well, there's a couple reasons for that. One is aesthetics. I think it just looks better if they're slightly different heights. And the other reason is actually for the cats. You want to have one, if you've got more than one cat, you want to have one that's just a little bit higher than the other, just so that one of the cats can take a dominant position. And that's just the way that they like it. So what I'm just gonna stack a few things together here, and we'll make ourselves a couple of corners, and we'll put these together. And I'm just using a 16 gauge brad nailer here. So now that I've got these ones done, I can take the other half. Yeah, so basically this interlocks one side into another, and just get 3 sides on. And we should be going upside number 4 now. So once you've got the box end done up like that, you can stick a couple more like that, a couple more pieces for the next section, and just like so. Turn and keep going around. One thing you'll notice, I always do keep my hands out of the way. I sometimes end up doing some pretty strange contortions of the fingertips just to keep the hands at least the distance of the length of the nail away. So I've seen people doing stuff like this, and they actually nail their hand accidentally. And it's a little painful for the body to go through something like that. Okay, so now that we've got our boxes of our main towers put together, the next thing we're going to do, we're going to take another board. This one here is 66 inches. We're going to measure off 12 inches, and we're just going to get that nicely lined up with the edge here. We'll drop a square in there, make sure that we're nice and tight, and then what we'll do, just to hold things here, we'll just drop a couple of brads in there real quick. And so now what we've got here, we've got that's hanging out over the end of a foot now. That's going to be one of our feet. That'll help the tower stay nice and stand up nice and square. Now come to the other end, and we're going to do the same thing here. We'll get the leg in here, and now this one might be a little bit more work to get this one into square here, but there we go. Once you've got that lined up, again, just put some brads in, just hold that in place. Okay, so now that we've secured those with brad nails just to hold them in place, you can just take some 1.5 inch deck screws, and we'll just sink those in, and that'll just make it so much more secure. Just kind of put them in an offset pattern, and it'll hold a little tighter. And then once you've got this together, just flip it over and put another 66-inch board on the other side, but with the 1 foot extension going out the other end. Now that you've got this subframe assembled, the next thing you need to do is just get yourself a couple of 16-inch pieces of 1x4, and those are just going to go on the end, and again just tack it in place with a brad nail, and then secure it with some wood screws. Well, that didn't quite work out. My initial plan was to have a short leg on each direction, but it appears it wasn't stable enough, so we're going to have to come up with a plan B here, which is fine. You see, these things don't always go the way I initially think they should, but that's okay. We'll rip these short little side legs off. That's not an issue because we can reuse them later for sure. I know exactly where they can go. What we're going to do for a plan B is we're going to cut off these portions that go at the end, because it's very stable this way. But between the two posts, I find it's quite sturdy. But where I'm running into stability issues is in the side wobble. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to keep these connected the way they are, and I'm going to put longer pieces, but have them go both sides, and that should correct our stability problem. And don't worry about these short little pieces. We can use these later for sure. Okay, so I've went with a 35-inch wide piece. We'll just secure that with a few brads, and then we'll have to re-drill the screws in here, and that should be a much more stable cat post. There we go. That's a whole lot more stable than it was. Now we're going to put stabilization feet under it as well, so that we can level it up once we get inside. That's a whole lot more stable than it was before. So the next step is to build the various little shelves and playthings for them. They'll have their big perches on top, a little hammock in the middle, a whole bunch of little steps all the way around, some toys hanging down, and just all kinds of things that make it fun for cats to play with. So anyways, now that we've got the main frame of the cat post built, the next thing we need to do is go cut ourselves a bunch of short little chunks of 1x4. I've got random lengths for different steps and stands and stuff like that that I've got hanging out all over the place. And what we're going to do is we're just going to go around the post and we're just going to put them all in different directions here. Now, you can have whatever length you want. The trick though is to make sure that you've got two that are identical, because what we're going to do, we're just going to simply put them on the side on the post like so, parallel to each other, and then once that's done, then we're going to put another board on top to make the platform on which the cat stands. So anyways, we'll just get started here. Now I've got a special little device here for the hammock to sit in. I'm just using the brad nails as a temporary fix to the base here, and once I get everything in place here, I'm going to go over it again with the drill and put screws in place. Now that I have those in place, now this is where the hammock. This is where the hammock's going to go. So what I'm going to do, I've got a special board here that I've made up, and that's going to go on the ends here. And then the hammock is going to actually hang off the corners here, and it's going to be in the middle here. So I'm going to have these on both sides. So as you can see, you just keep adding these little outcroppings here, and wherever you put a pair of these is going to be a platform. So just kind of go in a spiral around the tree so that you cat jumps from platform to platform to platform. I haven't quite got them all on yet, but you can kind of see where this is all headed for. The platform on top, of course, is a little bigger area. You probably use a piece of plywood or something up here to make it nice and big for them. I've got my spot here now. This is where the hammock is going to be suspended in here. And I've also picked up this 12-inch tube, paper tube. It's what they use for pouring concrete to make columns. And what I'm going to do, I got some carpet glue. I'm going to put carpet on the inside and carpet on the outside so they can climb through it or on top of it, whatever they want. Still got to figure out how I'm going to actually attach it though. I've kind of got a couple ideas, but I'm going to have to work through a few odds and ends here. So anyways, just keep adding until you're happy with it. Make sure that you always have a point where they can jump. Like right here, I've got a platform here, nothing in between. I've got to put something out on this side here or the back side so that they can jump from platform to platform. I've got it fairly well constructed over here. On the other side here, they can go all the way up in a spiral here. Yeah, it's coming along quite well here, but running out of daylight here, so I'll probably have to carry on tomorrow. So anyways, I've taken the most of the day, and I've been working on all the different platforms and ideas for activities for the cats. I've got everything just kind of cut and sitting roughly in place. Just take you around here and show a few of the things. I mean, obviously there's lots of platforms for them to jump on and run around and play. And now, one thing I've done, basically all over the place, is I put blocks, 2x4 in. Just nailed them in from the side and the end here, just hold them secure. And what I'm going to do with those blocks is I'm just underneath, I'm going to come in, I'm going to screw a hook eye in, and you can hang a toy off of that, and then the cats can play with that. Now, most of my platforms, I just cut them out of some old scrap plywood that I had. Use 3/4 inch if you've got it. It doesn't flex that much, and there's lots to nail your carpet to. Now, one thing you can do if you don't have any plywood, you can just use some old scrap 1x6, 1x4, cut up some pallets, whatever. Just stack them like that, and make your platforms that way. One thing you want to do is make lots of places for them to run and jump through and hide. I've got a hole in this platform here, and I've got another platform directly below, so the cat can pop up through it and jump down this area here. On this section here, I've constructed a little step ladder for them. Nice wide steps. You can cover that with carpet, and they can just go up and down. I've also rounded out the corner here so that if they choose to jump, they can do so. On this little platform here, I'm constructing a box. I'm going to close the top off, and then I've got this top constructed here with holes in it, and you can throw a ball in there, a mouse or something. They can play with it. Close the end off, but do remember to leave a space that you can stick your own hand in there in case you need to retrieve the toy or something, or if you want to change the toy out periodically. Gives them one more thing to play with. Again, I've got blocks secured up in under here and under here so that I can hang toys for them. Again, it's directly over a platform. Now, when you're building your cat tree, make sure you give your animals lots of little platforms to jump from. Just in regards to the height of the platforms, I've found from experience about 9 or 10 inches tends to work just fine. If you've got an older cat, you're going to want to go a little less. Here I've got about 6 inches. If you've got younger cats, you can go a little bigger. They do like to jump. To go, even a foot or 13, 14 inches is not unusual, although an older cat might have a little trouble with that. I usually keep them between 6 and 10 inches is about right. Another thing is just make your platforms just a little wider so that you kind of close off the distance between the two platforms. I mean, the cat can jump from here to here, but if you just even give a little bit of overlap or overhang, it just closes off that distance so that they're not as apt to fall down through here. Even cats can be clumsy from time to time, and that little thing just helps them. Yeah, I finally figured out how I'm going to secure this here. I'm got to round this out a little bit more at the top and the bottom so that the tube will fit inside. I've ran some braces to go from the upper to the lower platform. The tube's just going to sit inside. It'll balance on the brace, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to run a strapping, the pipe strapping material from the brace around the tube, and then I'm going to secure it with some small carriage bolts. Now do make sure you put your the shaft of your bolt, put the head on the inside of the tube and have the shaft of the bolt sticking up out. And much less likely that the cats are going to be on the outside of the tube, and you know, they won't catch their paw on it or anything like that. Any kind of nails or screws, if you got screw points coming through your wood here, make sure you grind those off or cut any protruding nails, especially like under platforms and stuff like that, because cats are going to get their little paws going everywhere. They'll reach around and try and dig in under these platforms and stuff. So if you got any kind of protruding objects and stuff that could possibly catch their little paws, make sure you take a grinder to it, or a wire snipper or something to it, and just take care of that problem. The final thing that we have in our Catland extraordinaire here is a hammock. My mother-in-law made this up for me. Basically, she just took a piece of cloth, folded it over, and ran a seam down. And I've got a space here. It's open on the inside here. I can now slide a rope through here from corner to corner and corner to corner. And what I'm going to do, I'm going to put a hook eye on each corner here, and I'm going to run a rope through the hook eye and through one edge, over through the next hook eye, through the next edge, and so on. Just go right around, and then this little hammock is just going to hang right in the middle here, and it'll be, of course, supported on all four edges so the cat can safely step inside and have a nice little comfy place to sleep. So, anyways, that's my ideas so far. Hope it gives you some inspiration on building your own cat post. Please feel free to share any ideas that you have, you know, to give your cat some extra entertainment, something to play with. I'm going to finish securing these platforms on now. They're just kind of all just sitting loosely here. And the next thing, after I get this painted, I'm going to paint it next, and then I'll get the carpet on and hang the toys, and the cats will be able to have some fun. Once you're finished screwing on all the decks, you're going to want to take some time and just sand everything over and get rid of all the sharp edges on all the corners here, and you just want to avoid any little spots where kitties can get slivers in their paw. So just take off anything that's loose around the corners, edges over everywhere. And just make it nice and safe for them. Just take your hand, run it up under the inside here wherever you put nails and screws in, and just make sure that there's no screw points or nail points coming through. If there are, take them off. Just safety for the kitties. And so anyways, now that we're done that part, next thing I'm going to do, I'm going to try to figure out a way to get this tube to stay. So now we've got everything painted, or we're into the home stretch. We just have to add a little bit of hardware so we can hang our toys and our little hammock for the cats, and then we can add some carpet panels, and we're ready to give to the kitties. I've taken a trip to the hardware store, and I've got these little contraptions here. You got little spikes, you got little threads inside here. What we're going to do, we're going to drill a hole into the bottom of the cat post, and then these just simply press into the hole, and then we can take these the screws here that's got the big wide flat heads, and these are going to be feet, and they screw into here, and you can adjust the height for leveling the cat post afterward. And we'll also put some sticky fuzzies on there so it doesn't scratch the floor. The other thing I've got is some hook eyes here, and we're just going to put these into the bottom of our blocks that we made so we can hang the toys on them. Okay, so I've got a 5/16 drill bit, and we're just going to go in near the end here. We're going to kind of center in on that board, and we're just going to drill in about 1 inch. There we go. We've gone in a little over 1 inch, which will cover the length of the bolt here. And all we do now is we just simply take one of these little screw-in devices. We just press it there and just then we just tap it in with a hammer, like so, and then our foot just screws right into the bottom there, and you can use that for leveling the cat post later. Now try and stay fairly close to the end with it, you know, because you want to spread your contact points out for balance, so the cat post doesn't fall over. So you're going to go on each of the 4 corners, farthest points out, and that'll balance the whole cat post for you. Just a little tip when you're putting these in here, you notice that you got 4 spikes here. You just want to rotate that so that you get the most amount of bite into the wood, because if you rotate it certain directions, you're really close to the edge, so you want to turn that back in a bit so that you get the biggest chunk of wood. Otherwise you can split this edge out. Okay, next thing I'm going to do, I'm going to go under the blocks. Just going to simply pilot a small hole, and then we're going to put the hook eyes in, and that's where we hang all the little cat toys and danglers and everything. Just a screwdriver works like a little pry bar. Gets those in, going in nicely. Yeah, there we go. And that's ready for hanging toys. We'll put some more on the inside here where we hang the little hammock for them. So while the cat post dries from all the painting touch-ups and everything, we're just going to start the next process here. I painted the tube, and we're going to apply the carpet to the inside of the tube now. What I've got here, I've got a 3-inch drywall knife. I've got a 9-inch spreader. This is a little glue spreader. It's got some flat edge here, but every 1/4 of an inch it's got a little notch, so it will leave little ridges in whatever you trail it through. And I've got some carpet glue here that I picked up at the hardware store. This is for adhering outdoor carpets to decks. And what we're going to do, we're just simply going to pour the glue onto the back of the carpet, and then we're going to roll the carpet up and put it on the inside of the tube. Now, one thing I should warn you about in advance, the inside of the tubes is generally coated wax, so you should take some sandpaper or an SOS pad, preferably one without the soap in it, and just scrape up the inside of the tube so that the glue will actually adhere to the cardboard. So we just take the adhesive and we'll just spread it, put a bunch on the back of the carpet, and just take the spreader, then you just spread it out and evenly cover the entire surface of the back of the carpet. And it will actually take a fair amount of glue to do this, so just keep going until you got her all covered. Now you've got about an hour to work with this stuff. It's not the fastest drying in the world, so once you've got it covered, just let it set for a few minutes, and we're just gonna sort of half roll it down and touch it to the inside of the tube, and hopefully it's going to stay there. Just let that get tacky there. Like I say, you've got 1 hour to work with it, so just take a little bit, put it on the inside of the tube, and just spread it out. And now I've got it cut so that it'll actually cover about half the tube, and I'm going to do the one half first, and then I'll cut the other half. Just I don't know if you can see inside what I'm doing here, but just kind of putting it up the tube there and scraping it out as best as I can on that rounded surface. Again, just let it get nice and tacky there. Let it sit for 10-15 minutes here. I only do half the tube, obviously, and there we go. We'll come back and we'll do the other half of the tube here afterward. Okay, so this is set up for a few minutes. Just I've got a couple of pails in place to keep my tube from rolling. What we're going to do here is nice and sticky now. So I'm going to take this and just going to put a little bit of a half bend into it, and just inside the tube and right onto the spot where we glued. And that holds nice and tight here. There we go, just roll it down and away she goes. Just like that. And once that's set in place, then you do the other half of the tube. So now I've got a 12-inch tube here that's 24 inches long. I found that 2 pieces of carpet that are 18 inches wide by 24 inches deep will fit this tube just nicely. So I'm just going to dry fit my other half here, and then we're ready to go. Okay, so now it's time to attach the tube to the structure. I picked up this strapping. It's 3/4 inch steel strapping. It's used, you can find it in the plumbing section. It's used for hanging pipes and stuff like that, generally, pipes and furnace ducting, whatnot. It's got nice rounded edges. It's full of holes all the way, And basically what we're going to do, we're just going to strap it here, and we're going to run it around too. So this is what the pipe strapping looks like. It's got holes all the way, so you can put a screw in pretty much anywhere. And like I say, it's just used for going around pipes and ducting and stuff like that. Now we're going to put this in, start this off here. We're going to use 3/4 inch wood screws, and we're just going to put a couple of wood screws in and get that nice and secured. Now the metal is nice and soft, so a pair of side cutters and just put a nip in the metal, a little bit of a kink, and then all you have to do is just simply bend it by hand. Bend it back and forth a couple of times and it'll just snap off. So just secure it on the other side here. Again with a couple of 3/4 inch wood screws. We just want using short wood screws so that we get as much grab into the hold into the wood as we can, but then we don't want to come through the other side here, because again we want to watch that we don't make little pokey things to catch kitty paws. So we want to just get that nice and secured there. Okay, you've got your standard cat toy on the end of a wand here, so we're just going to pull these off the end here. And what we're going to do, we're just not going to need the wand anymore, but we'll just take these two ends and we're going to tie them up tightly together here, and like so. And then what we're going to do, we're going to take a shoelace we'll just take a shoelace here and we're just going to tie that around that knot as well. Oops. Try and get it around the knot if we can. Okay, I've got another toy here. It's just a simple little stuffed bird here. What we're going to do, we're going to take another shoelace. I'm just going to simply knot that over in a half hitch like so. And there we go. And we're going to take one of these little zip ties. We're going to put it around the neck of the bird and kind of put that through the loop. And what we're going to do, I'm just going to cinch that up a bit, put that to the top, cut off the excess here, and voila, another little toy for the to hang off the cat post there. Also picked up this rope knot here that well, it's a dog toy, but you can hang it from the cat post as well. They like to climb it and tug on it as well. And what you can do with this, just take a zip tie and just tie that to one of the hooks and then cut off the excess. Okay, what I've decided to do around here is to take this piece of carpet and just simply glue it around, take the staple gun, put a couple staples to hold it in tight here, and that just covers up the band here and makes it look kind of neat, and it gives the cats one more thing to grab onto. And the final thing we're going to do is just cut out panels of old carpet. We're just going to staple it to all the top of all the platforms and the sides and wherever. Just give them lots of places to claw and scratch, and nice soft carpet to rest on, and just staple it in a good half-inch staple, and just on every just go around every piece, a couple in the middle there, make sure it doesn't come off. so for the final piece de resistance, we have the little cat hammock here, and just take a bent up coat hanger, feed it through, and then just pull your cord through and just loop it through all the different eye hooks that you've got here, and tie her up, and you've got her. And with that all safely knotted in place, Kitty can now enjoy the hammock. So there you have it, a wonderful playland for the cats to enjoy. I hope you've enjoyed this project as much as I have, and as much as my cats are going to love it. I've got a few more pieces of carpet to cut up and put on, but I think you can kind of get the idea. The cats are just going to enjoy running all over this thing. Anyways, have a good day.